What if the Time Turner and Sorcerer's Stone weren't destroyed? Picture this, really picture it. Harry and Hermione, both functionally immortal, passing a single silver Time Turner back and forth like it's just a cup of tea. Their plan? Use endless retries, unlimited do-overs to save every innocent life that ever slipped through the cracks of wizarding history. Starting, of course, with the night Voldemort walked into Godric's Hollow. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into that wild, alternate timeline, the one where those two world-breaking artifacts, the Time Turner and the Sorcerer's Stone, were never destroyed. And let me tell you, it's a journey. Spoiler alert, the wizarding world quickly becomes a chessboard, but with a terrifying twist. Every single piece, no matter how many times it's knocked down, just keeps coming back to life, until, inevitably, someone decides to change the rules of the game entirely. In less than 30 seconds, here's the truly terrifying math of this scenario. Unlimited time plus limitless life equals 0 consequences. Think about that for a moment. What could possibly go wrong when the stakes are removed? The answer, as we're about to discover, is absolutely everything. In the canon story we all know and love, the Ministry of Magic did what it does best. It smashed every single Time Turner in existence during the chaotic battle of the Department of Mysteries. A drastic measure, yes, but one they felt was necessary to prevent the kind of temporal chaos we're about to explore. And Nicholas Flamel, bless his ancient heart, wisely agreed to trash the Sorcerer's Stone before Voldemort, ever the opportunist, could get his hands on it and truly understand its power. But tonight, we're asking the audacious question, what if both of those slipped through the cracks? What if somehow the Department of Mysteries still had a forgotten crate of unregistered hourglasses tucked away in a dusty corner, and somewhere in a quiet, unassuming attic in Devon, old Nicholas quietly kept the ruby-red stone humming, its life-giving magic still potent? That single, seemingly minor change hands Harry and Hermione not one, but two ultimate cheat codes, infinite do-overs, and the gift of never dying. Hermione, ever the brightest witch of her age, immediately sees the moral high ground, the endless possibilities for good, rescue the Potters, spare Cedric Diggory, stop Sirius from falling through the veil. Harry, on the other hand, just wants his parents back. And honestly, who could blame him? So, with a shared, desperate hope, they twist the tiny hourglass, feel that familiar, unsettling hook behind the navel, and land 37 years in the past, right on the cobblestones of Godric's Hollow, on that fateful night of October 31st, 1981. They cast discreet notice-me-not charms, carefully slide past a younger, less world-weary Hagrid, and bang frantically on the Potter's front door. Lily answers, wand already out, her eyes narrowed with suspicion. Before she can even get a word out, Hermione, in a rush of panicked exposition, blurts out everything: the Horcruxes, Peter Pettigrew, the betrayal, the whole ugly, heart-wrenching plot. James, upon hearing all this, initially just laughs, a disbelieving, hearty sound, until his gaze falls upon Harry's scar. The uncanny resemblance, the sheer impossibility of it, shuts him up instantly. They evacuate the cottage under disillusionment charms, a whirlwind of whispers and disbelief. Voldemort arrives moments later to an empty, silent house. The killing curse, the one that should have rebounded and scarred Harry forever, never gets cast. Harry's soul never splits. Boom, first victory. It feels triumphant, doesn't it? Except there's a catch, a devastating, universe-altering ripple effect. The moment Voldemort realizes the prophecy child vanished, that his target simply isn't there, he doesn't suffer a downfall. There's no rebound, no first defeat to weaken him. He just stays in power, body intact, gathering followers at a terrifying, lightning-fast pace. Harry and Hermione pop back to the future, expecting sunshine and rainbows, only to discover magical Britain living under an iron fist of martial law, a dark, oppressive regime. Oops, talk about a brutal lesson. Lesson 1, when you delete the pivotal defeat of a Dark Lord, you might just delete the victory and indeed any chance of true peace along with it. The canonical timeline, where Voldemort's initial defeat led to years of peace, suddenly looks like a golden age. Harry, stubborn as ever, refuses to admit defeat. How could he when the tools for endless attempts are right there? He starts swallowing a single drop of elixir from the stone every sunrise, and Hermione, ever by his side, does the same. Aging literally stops for them. They look 17 forever, frozen in time, while their classmates hit middle age and beyond. Imagine the awkwardness. Ron eyes them weirdly at a reunion, his own hair thinning, his face lined, while they look exactly as they did in their final year at Hogwarts. Ginny, after years of trying to make it work, quietly breaks it off. She wants a life with an expiration date, a life where time actually means something. The couple's new desperate motto becomes try again, fail better. Each week, sometimes each day, they spin the hourglass, tweaking tiny details. Move the Potters to Australia, warn the Longbottoms more explicitly, tip off Dumbledore about Peter Pettigrew's treachery earlier. But here's the kicker. Every single adjustment, no matter how well-intentioned, spawns a darker, more unexpected backlash. In one loop, Barty Crouch Jr., unburdened by Azkaban, becomes Minister for Magic, transforming the Ministry into a truly terrifying, authoritarian regime. In another, Antonin Dolohov, instead of being a mere thug, starts a pure-blood tech startup that weaponizes memory modification at scale, rewriting people's minds and histories with terrifying efficiency. It seems the universe, with its intricate web of cause and effect, keeps balancing precariously on a razor's edge, and every time Harry and Hermione push it, it just teeters in a new, horrifying direction. By the 15th loop, they finally manage it. They prevent Cedric's death in the graveyard. The Triwizard Cup becomes a portkey to safety instead of a death trap. Cedric returns a hero, hailed by all. But the Daily Prophet, ever fickle, brands Harry an attention-seeking liar about Voldemort's return. Without Cedric's tragic, undeniable death as proof, without that visceral horror, few believe the boy who cried, Dark Lord. Dumbledore, isolated and seemingly paranoid, never reinstates the Order of the Phoenix. The urgency simply isn't there. When Voldemort finally moves openly, no longer a shadowy figure but a terrifying public threat, he faces a fractured, complacent resistance, completely unprepared for the onslaught. Casualties quadruple. Hermione, ever the meticulous one, starts a grim spreadsheet, a chilling tally of body counts per iteration. The number climbs like a Gringotts Vault Dragon on Red Bull, spiraling higher and higher. She quietly, hauntingly, wonders whether saving one good kid, one single life, justifies unleashing such unimaginable carnage on hundreds, even thousands of others. Harry's answer, always tinged with a desperate hope, is unwavering. Then we go back again. We find a better way, but the cost, the sheer moral weight of that spreadsheet begins to crush them both. After Loop 30, a truly unexpected horror emerges from the ever-shifting timelines. Someone else is learning. Someone else is benefiting from their endless resets. A masked figure, a shadowy manipulator, grabs a spare time turner from the Department of Mysteries during one of the Ministry's many chaotic moments, reverse engineers its magic and steals a flask of elixir from the Sorcerer's stone. It turns out that knowledge of future events combined with immortality is a heck of a resume builder for a new kind of Dark Lord. This new player manipulates both sides, sells prophecies to the highest bidder, and slowly, meticulously, builds a pure-blood technocracy that makes Voldemort look positively provincial and old-fashioned. This isn't about blood purity in the traditional sense, it's about absolute technological control over magic and information. When Harry finally, painstakingly unmasks him, the face revealed is utterly chilling. It's Neville Longbottom, but not the Neville we know. This is a Neville broken by watching his friends reset the world like a broken record, convinced that the only way to end the chaos, the endless cycles of suffering, is through absolute, unyielding control. Same surname tragically, but a terrifyingly different warlord. The lesson here, if heroes treat time like an eraser, casually wiping away mistakes, then someone nastier, someone with a far more ruthless vision, will inevitably treat it like a sword, cutting a path to their own twisted order. By now, the duo has, against all odds, saved every canonical good guy you can think of. Sirius, Dobby, Fred, Snape, Dumbledore, even Hedwig. They've prevented every major death, yet the wizarding world, despite all their improvements, feels profoundly dystopian, hollowed out. When death becomes optional, when it's just a temporary setback, sacrifice becomes utterly meaningless. Why fight for anything when you can just rewind? Hogwarts, once a place of learning and wonder, now hosts parties where kids duel with real, dangerous curses because, hey, the immortal duo will just rewind if someone loses an eye, or worse. Hermione walks into the Forbidden Forest one day, a place usually teeming with life, and sees a thestral herd, thin and starved, because nobody stays dead anymore. There are no funerals, no profound losses to mark, so no one can see them. Even grief itself, that fundamental human emotion, starts to vanish, replaced by a strange, detached apathy. Harry stands in the headmaster's office, staring at portraits of past headmasters and headmistresses who no longer remember which timeline they belong to, their memories fragmented by countless resets. Dumbledore's portrait, its eyes still twinkling with a profound sadness, whispers to him a chilling truth across the ages. Some evils are meant to stay defeated, Harry, not merely rescheduled. The very fabric of reality and of human experience is unraveling. Finally, in Loop 51, after so many cycles of hope and despair, so many rewinds and fresh starts, they confront a brutal, undeniable truth. The original timeline, the one they desperately tried to escape, where Voldemort dies, where Teddy Lupin grows up an orphan, where people actually feel pain, grieve, and move forward. That might just be the least awful option. It's a gut-wrenching realization. Hermione, ever the pragmatist, proposes one last desperate jump. Her plan is precise, agonizingly so: plant irrefutable evidence that leads Ministry hit witches to the Sorcerer's Stone, ensuring its permanent destruction. Then, anonymously, tip off the unspeakables to round up and shatter every remaining time-turner, sealing the timeline for good. Harry balks, his voice raw with pain. His parents will die again. Cedric will die. Sirius, Fred, Dobby, all of them. Hermione counters, her voice cracking but firm. Living forever is not the same as living well, Harry. We haven't saved them. We've trapped them, and ourselves, in an endless, meaningless cycle. They argue under the flickering ancient torches of the Department of Mysteries, two best friends who've utterly forgotten how many lifetimes, how many versions of themselves they've spent together. The weight of their shared impossible journey hangs heavy in the air. In the end, Harry agrees, tears streaming down his face, because heroism, he finally understands, sometimes means letting the clock run out, letting the natural order reassert itself, even when it means profound personal loss. They execute the plan. The stone is pulverized into dust, its magic finally extinguished. The hourglasses, the instruments of their endless tampering, are shattered into a million glittering shards. Time snaps shut, brutally and irrevocably like a steel trap. They return to a world that feels eerily, achingly canon. The Potters' graves still stand, silent and solemn. Cedric's ghost, perhaps, still haunts the maze, a poignant memory. Sirius still falls through the veil, his laughter silenced. Loss returns, yes, but with it, miraculously, so does meaning. At a quiet, solemn funeral, Harry watches Teddy Lupin, a small, bright spark of hope, laugh at soap bubbles, and he realizes with a profound clarity that mortality is precisely what makes love urgent, what makes every moment precious. Ginny squeezes his hand, her touch a grounding, real warmth, and he feels the quiet comfort of something ending, allowing something new to begin. Hermione, now aging normally, her face showing the subtle lines of experience and wisdom, finds Ron in the orchard and kisses him like she finally, truly gets the joke of time, of living in the moment. They don't live happily ever after in some perfect, consequence-free fantasy. They just live, fully and completely, with all the joy and sorrow that entails, and that paradoxically feels like the truest victory of all. So after all that, which single death in the series do you think should absolutely stay permanent for the story to truly matter? Drop your pick in the comments below, and if you want more mind-bending, wizarding what-ifs, don't forget to whack that subscribe spell. No time turner required. So yes, we could imagine a world where Harry and Hermione sip immortality tea and rewind every single heartbreak. It sounds appealing, doesn't it? But stories without endings aren't really stories at all. They're just screensavers, beautiful, but ultimately static. The real magic of the Harry Potter series, the profound truth at its core, is that choices cost something, that love endures precisely because clocks tick and time moves forward. When we take away death, when we strip away the ultimate consequence, we don't just break the timeline, we break the very reason to care, to strive, to love. Some doors, it seems, stay shut for a reason. Some artifacts, no matter how tempting their power, truly deserve to shatter. Thanks for exploring this dark, twisted fork in the timeline with me. Until next time, keep your hourglasses hidden and your hearts wide open.